All right, welcome back. So 6 games tonight. If you're looking for the early games, already posted to the channel. Some interesting results tonight. So here's the thing. I'm wearing a home team jersey that won. There were 2 home teams that won today, Seattle and Ottawa. There were 9 games played, and the only home teams that won were Seattle and Ottawa. Just let that kind of sink in a little bit. One of the weirdest days of hockey, really. And let's go ahead and start off with what might be the weirdest. Philadelphia in against the New York Rangers. That being said, for Jones, he continues to have a pretty good resurgence with the Flyers. He was against Shesterkin. Hayes can't bury one on a turnover due to Adam Fox breaking that up. Then there's a post for Mott on a rush, and then Cam York. He scores from Nate Thompson at 5:54. And then on the 5th shot they got in the game, Tippett makes it 2-0. From Hayes at 6:44. So that was a rush on a turnover as well. And yeah, we're looking at a game where Philadelphia's up 2-0. They've got 2 goals in 50 seconds. Today's officially Bizarro World. Hodgson was then denied on a break. It could have been worse. The Rangers press with 6.5 minutes left. They get their game together. They're up in shots 9-5 with 5.5 minutes left. Most of the second half of that first period is in the Flyers zone. Lindgren has a chance that deflects wide. In the last minute, Lafreniere has a rush chance that's defended. So it's 2-0 Philly after 1. Second period, Rangers had a 3-on-2 that fizzled. They had a press of their own at 3.5 minutes. Atkinson has a chance that's saved and held. The shots are 8-3 for the Rangers 6 minutes into it. Rangers get a power play. Kopp was denied, and the Flyers do kill that off. The Rangers press with 8 minutes left. The Rangers get another power play. That was killed off. The Rangers' power play has been lethal all year. Tonight, Philadelphia managed to stymie it. Third period, 44 seconds in, and it's a 2-on-0 and it's a goal. Farabee from Sanheim and Lindblom. It's 3-0. It does not stay 3-0. It's Panarin from Trouba and Miller at 1:22. Hayes tries to answer, but you could see momentum was starting to shift a little bit. Flyers get a power play. That's killed off. They go back to the power play. Hayes kind of whiffs on a rush chance, and that's killed off. Then the Rangers press at 7.5 minutes. Trouba has a chance that's blocked. More pressure by the Rangers. There's a glove save on Panarin. I don't know how Jones saw that because he looked pretty blocked to me. 6:31 left. There's a delay game call on the Flyers. No, it actually landed on the Flyers bench. There was some argument, but it doesn't end up mattering because at 15:28, Zibanejad scores from Vetrano and Lindgren. And so that makes it 3-2. And then Andrew Kopp scores from Panarin and Goodrow at 15:40. So Vetrano with the primary assist on this with the shot that Zibanejad puts in the rebound for. And Kopp with a goal. So that's how the acquisitions at the deadline are supposed to work right there. Ties up the game. 3:11 left. The Rangers get a power play. So the Rangers call a timeout before that starts to go over strategy. The Flyers kill it off. Not only that, they don't allow any shots. So we go to overtime. Flyers control it early. Trouba gets one to Panarin. Trouba then has a shot that's saved. Jones holds out Miller's shot. Frost is denied twice at the other end. Those saves on Frost were fantastic for Shesterkin. Panarin with a rush, that's blocked, but the Rangers would press. And then with 33.3 seconds left, the Flyers get a power play. They do not score on it, so we go to the shootout. In the shootout, it is Hayes who gets the winner. So the Flyers win it in a shootout 4-3. They go to 22, 36, and 11 with the win. The Rangers 44, 20, and 6 with the shootout loss. So they have added another point, but they're going to be upset they didn't get 2 because Pittsburgh will be very happy with this result. The shots, 13-8 Rangers in the first, 19-8 Rangers in the second, 10-6 Rangers in the third. Both teams had 4 shots in overtime. Final shots, 46-26 for the Rangers. Both teams go 0-for-3 on the power play. Hits 28-19 Philadelphia. Jones saves 43 out of 46. Shesterkin saves 23 out of 26. So, the Rangers get the point, and they will lament not getting both. Next up, Minnesota in against the Washington Capitals. It's Talbot versus Vanacek. And this one, the scoring starts pretty early and pretty quickly. It's Eriksson Ek from Greenway and Goligoski at 36 seconds. It's a fast break, and it's the first shot on net. Welcome to the game, Vanacek. And then Jost with the second shot, he makes it 2-0 from Brodin and Hartman at 1:37. So tough start to the game for both Vanacek and the defense in front of him. And you've given the Wild a 2-0 lead. You're not even 2 minutes into the game. You've made it tough on yourself because the Wild are very difficult when they have a lead. The Wild press at 4 minutes. They get their third shot at that point. The shots are actually 6-3 for the Capitals at 6.5 minutes. Talbot fires a puck to Oshie. The Wild recover that, though, because Talbot's not supposed to give it to Oshie because that's the other team. Power play for the Wild. There were too many Caps on the ice. It's killed off. And they put OV in the box. There's a reason, and sure enough, he gets a rush out of the box. Does not end up getting a goal, but it's a good move by Washington, and it's one they've used for years. Second period, Kaprizov gets Vanacek out of the net. Badly out of the net. Cannot bury it. That's where the defense covered for Vanacek being way out of position. Fiala's then denied on a 2-on-1. Mantha can't bury one as the Caps press. Oshie has a net feed. That's cleared. Kuznetsov then had a chance that was blocked. Few shots for either team. Halfway through the game, the shots are only 13-7 in favor of the Washington Capitals. And the shots were only 3-1 in the second period at that point. Eriksson Ek has a rush, but he's kept to the outside. So he's not able to get inside on that rush chance. But Eriksson Ek would add a goal. He scores from Greenway and Foligno at 13:07. It was pretty soon after that rush chance where he's kept to the outside. And it was a good press after that leads to the goal. The Wild then get a power play. There was a shorthanded 2-on-1. Spurgeon defends that before it gets to the net. They kill that off. Dumba has a blast that goes wide in the final minute. It's 3-0 Minnesota after 2. Third period, 30 seconds in. Foligno gets his 20th goal. Congratulations to Foligno on a 20-goal season. Greenway and Eriksson Ek with the assists on that. So Eriksson Ek with 2 goals and an assist. He had a pretty good game. Wild try to add another, up 4-0. Why not? Oshie has a rush chance. That's fired wide. Fans don't like a Dumba hit on Schultz. Clean hit. Hartman is denied from in close. The Wild are blocking the Caps to the outside. The shots are 4-0 in their favor at 7.5 minutes, showing how well the Wild are defending at this point in the game. And then Hathaway would get a goal at 10:28 from Ovechkin and Kuznetsov. So that makes it 4-1. Gives a little bit of life for the Caps. Kaprizov to Fiala. Carlson defends on that one. So Kaprizov trying to get it to the net, and Carlson gets that before Fiala does. 6:39 left. The Wild get a power play. That leads to some shorthanded play by Kuznetsov that was excellent, and so the Capitals end up killing it off. I think they had the puck more than Minnesota did during that power play. So the goalie's pulled with 4 minutes left because they're down by 3. That allows Delorier to get a goal into the empty net from Spurgeon and Bukestad at 17:15. With 2:38 left, the Capitals get a power play, but they're down by 4. I'll go ahead and disagree with the Minnesota announcer saying they should just pull the goalie. Why don't they pull the goalie? They should just pull the goalie. They're down by 4. So your final score is 5-1 in favor of the Minnesota Wild to go to 43-20-5. For the Caps, 37-22-10, trying their best to keep the hopes alive for the New York Islanders. Your shots in this one, 10-6 Washington in the first, 6 apiece in the second, 10-7 Washington in the third. The final shot's 26-19. So only 45 shots in this one, the 26 shots being for Washington. Power plays, Minnesota 0 for 3. Washington 0 for 1. The hits 25-24 for the Caps. Talbot saves 25 out of 26. Goaltending is becoming the story with Minnesota again. Vanacek 14 saves on 18 shots. So rough night for Vanacek and for the defense in front of him. And for the Caps, starting to look more and more like they are going to be the number 2 wild card. Be very surprising if they weren't. All right, next up, Arizona and Chicago. So the Coyotes seemingly rallying now. Like they're rallying around the fact that they don't have Keller, but that's okay. And all the things that they're saying, you know, it's nice to hear that they're not giving up, even though obviously they're not going to make the playoffs, but they're not giving up and going out there and playing well. It's Vejmelka versus Lankin in this one. They had a nice ceremony for Taves, his 1,000th game, all that other fun stuff. And of course, Andrew Ladd, who is currently with Arizona, he was in Chicago, so Ladd knowing Taves, nice tie in there. Strome would score on the first shot from DeBrincat at 1:15. Whoops. So the first shot Chicago has goes into the net, and it looks like this could be a pretty rough night for Vejmelka. If you thought that, you would be wrong. So the Coyotes try to answer. There was a crossbar for Hudson Fasching. The Hawks press at 5 minutes. The shots are 4-1 in their favor 6 minutes into the game. Stillman, fantastic deke by Stillman in close, but he misses wide. Kane can't bury on a break, but he draws a power play. He wanted a penalty shot on that one. He didn't get it. Things get pushy and shovey after a Lankinen save, and then Carcone on a net drive. He was denied. So after the first period, it's 1-0 Chicago. Second period, Ghost takes a puck to the face. That looked like it hurt, probably a lot. He would come back into the game, though. The shots are 3-0 for the Coyotes at 3 minutes. Pressed by the Coyotes at 4.5. And they're controlling the play. I just felt like, they haven't had a goal in a while. They really just need a goal to get them going, and they get it. And it's Carcone that scores from Strollman at 6:25, and that's the reward for good pressure. And again, for Carcone, a very good game for him. He's played well since being called up. And then Boyd scores just past the midway mark at 10:01 from Gostisbehere and Mayo. So Ghost definitely bounces back from taking a puck in the face, and at 10:01, it's suddenly 2-1 in favor of Arizona. Coyotes press, but the Hawks end up with a power play. That was killed off. The Coyotes get a power play at 18:15, so that rolls over into the third, where the Hawks finish off the kill. Then there's a crossbar for Michelli. Oh, that close to getting a goal of his own. The Hawks then get a power play, and they score on it. It's Kane from Seth Jones and DeBrincat at 5:33. The shots are 5-2 for the Hawks at 6.5 minutes. A lot of pressure for them. DeBrincat has a shot that deflects wide. Strome was denied from the slot. The Hawks are in control, seeking the lead. There's a press by the Coyotes, though, with 5.5 minutes left. And then there was a chance in the slot, and Andrew Ladd just whiffs on it right there. So we end up going to overtime, as almost everything did of the early games. Hawks controlling the faceoff. Radish ends up hitting the post. Michelli has a net feed. That was broken up. Strome can't bury one. Good rushes both ways at this point in the overtime. Coyotes then win the next faceoff, and they set things up. DeBrincat prevents a goal, and then he blows a tire right after that to give the puck back to them. Kessel and Hayden are denied after that, and with 47.5 seconds left, the Coyotes get a power play, which did not make the Chicago fans happy. And it's Ghost. Ghost gets it. So is that like, what kind of a hat trick could we call that? Taking a puck in the face and getting a goal and an assist. I guess it's a Ghost trick, right? So he scores from Schmaltz and Kessel at 4:45. Patent pending. That's mine. That's mine. That's mine. Ghost trick. Done. Bizarre deflection, too. This was one of the weirdest goals you're going to see. It goes in off Taves' boot. And it was one of those things where I don't think he meant for it to go in the way that he did. But I'm sure afterwards he'll be like, yeah, no, I'm good at pool. Because that's what it looked like. It was a pool shot. So Arizona wins this one in overtime. They win 3-2. They go to 22, 42, and 5 with the win. Chicago 24, 35, and 11. They have 11 overtime or shootout loss points. Shots in this one, 11-6 Chicago in the first, 15-5 Arizona in the second, 13-8 Chicago in the third, 6-2 Arizona in the overtime. Final shots 35-31 Arizona. Power plays 1 for 2 for Arizona, 1 for 3 for Chicago. The hits 34-27 for the Hawks. Vejmelka, he bounces back from allowing the goal in the first shot. He saves 29 out of 31 in Lankin and saves 32 out of 35. So, pretty impressive game overall. And again, these games between two teams that are not in the playoffs, if you want to just enjoy good hockey, generally they tend to be pretty good games. All right, next up, Vegas in against Vancouver. And again, I didn't expect Vancouver to win this. Again, you have the heart, you have the comeback and all this, but in the end, Vancouver's playoff hopes it's gone. It's gone, right? You don't have to do the South Park thing. It's gone, right? So, it's Leonard versus Demko. Nice to see Robin Leonard back in. Means Thompson doesn't have to play every game. Early power play for Vegas. That was killed off. Got 2 shots. The shots are 4-1 for Vegas at 5 minutes, and they open the scoring. It's Pietrangelo from Eichel and Stevenson at 6:51. That was already their 10th shot, and Vancouver had 1. So this was not an encouraging start for Vancouver. Canucks press for an answer. However, at 12:31, Marchessault on what was the 11th shot for Vegas. He gets their second goal. Then Vegas gets a power play. It was a 4-minute power play. To Vancouver's credit, they do kill that off. There was a shorthanded break for Horvat that was saved. And so it's 2-0 after the first. It could have been worse. That 4-minute power play definitely could have been worse. So, second period, 9-second Vegas power play to start. They killed that off. Janmark then has a break. He's denied on that. And that was early. I think it was 20 seconds in. Stevenson with the net feed. That's cleared. Canucks then press at 7.5 minutes. But the shots are still 3-2 for Vegas at 8.5. So they're not getting very many shots to the net. Press by Vegas with 8 minutes left. There's a delay game call. The Canucks get a power play. That was unsuccessful for them. Besser gets hurt on a hit. Looked like it was a shoulder. He exits. He does come back later in the game. Last minute, there was a press by Vegas. So there's no scoring in the second, which is good, I guess, for Vancouver because, you know, it's the same score going into the third. Well, Besser's back. The lines are juggled to start the third period. Canucks press, and JT Miller scores. He gets a goal from Ekman Larsson at 1:42. And then the Canucks, with that momentum, they press for the tie. There's a post for Pettersson. Vegas then had some rush opportunities. It looked like they were kind of woken up a little bit by that goal against them. Marchessault was denied. The shots are 5-3 for the Canucks at 6.5 minutes. Canucks get a power play at 7:42. Besser can't bury one. Vegas clears it out. But, and I write killed here. I'm going to go ahead and take that off because at exactly 2 minutes, Horvat gets a goal. And it's at 9:42, and it's a draw. And it's one of those bizarre things where the draw, it just comes back and it goes through everybody. And it goes through Leonard, and it's in the net. It's one of the oddest goals you're going to see, but it counts. And so Horvat gets the goal on it. Not the prettiest one, but he can just tell his grandkids that it was, you know, this beautiful 5-hole, did the between the legs thing. He just load up video footage of Matthew Tkachuk and say, no, that was me. So anyways, Vegas presses with 6 minutes left. Horvat's then denied on the rush. Nice aggressive play by Leonard, coming way out of the net to make saves there, and Vegas covering for him. So we go to overtime. Canucks control early, but Eichel takes it. There's a rush chance that won't go. Pietrangelo has a chance that save that deflects out, but Vegas does get the winner. It's Theodore from Marchessault and Carlson at 2:05. Vegas comes into Vancouver and they win 3-2 in overtime. They go to 39, 28, and 4. They are now above the playoff line. We will talk about Dallas in a moment here. For Vancouver, 32, 28, and 10. So for Vancouver, they're at 74 points. Respectable point total overall considering the start of their season, but it is a full 8 points outside of a playoff spot. Vancouver is done. And Winnipeg fans would have wanted to see Vancouver win in regulation tonight. Obviously, Dallas fans would have. Yeah, it doesn't work out that way. Vegas has won, 5 or 6 in a row now. Vegas is looking pretty good. And on the board I'm looking at, they definitely moved up from where they were last night, the last time I did the power rankings. That being said, I need to change boards. Okay, so Edmonton went into Anaheim tonight and reminded us that Anaheim's season is over. And Edmonton reminded us that they're starting to really wind themselves up and they're getting themselves going here. So it's Smith versus Gibson in this one. Skinner the backup, which is interesting. So Koskinen, no matter what happens here, night off, which is good. I don't know if there's an injury there, or if it's just they want to give him the night off. I agree with giving him the night off. Steele with the net drive. Nurse defends on that. Hyman then had a net drive where Gibson saved. And then at 4:44, Barrie opens the scoring from McDavid. So McDavid, scoring's picking up for him again. Draisaitl's then denied on a rush. You know which goal he's stuck on? Not for long. Gibson gets into a bit of a scrum. The Oilers end up with a power play out of all that when the dust settles on that. And McDavid scores on the power play from Barrie and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at 8:58. In fact, with 9 minutes left in the first, the shots are 11-3 for the Oilers. This is one of those games I really didn't have to pay a whole lot more attention to because it's already 2-0. Ducks press with 8.5 minutes left. Smith holds. Milano to Carrick nearly connects. Doesn't. Henrique has a rush chance that's saved, and then it's Nugent-Hopkins through a screen. No chance that Gibson sees that from Barrie and Kulak at 15:58. And Kulak had himself a game tonight. So that makes it 3-0. And then there's a post for Kulak as he came in and pinched on the next play. He wants all the points and all the goals. He's an Oiler now. Power play for the Ducks. The Oilers do kill that off. They then add a 2-on-1. Kane's denied in the closing seconds. So we go to the second period with the score 3-0. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has a net feed that's cleared out. The Ducks are turning the puck over. This is an issue. And again, they're outside the playoffs. Edmonton has something to play for. Anaheim doesn't. It kind of shows in this one. Puljujarvi ends up scoring from Kane at 4:15. Simone hits the outside of the net as the Ducks try to manufacture something to answer. Gibson with a giveaway, but he stops Kane after his giveaway. Shots are 7-6 for the Oilers with 7.5 minutes left. The Oilers would get a power play. That was killed off, and that was it for the special teams in this game. So we go to the third period. There's an early press by the Oilers, but the Ducks would get on the board. It's Aston Reese at 3:16, and he scores on his own rebound. I can't prove that he's a Stone Cold fan, but come on. Come on, it's WrestleMania weekend. He scores a 316. I know what's up. So anyways, he scores on his own rebound. That's his first goal as a Duck. McDavid then has a rush that's turned aside. Fowler has a blast that was saved and then cleared out. Carrick with a wraparound, that won't go. And then Drysdale's robbed. Smith was actually not on his feet at all. He just reaches up and grabs it. Shots are 10-8 for the Oilers with 9 minutes left. And then Kulak scores from Ceci and Draisaitl at 12-13. That is point number 100 for Leon Draisaitl on the season. Ducks try to answer. Draisaitl then had a break, and Gibson denies number 50. So Draisaitl got number 50 on the next play. He scores from Kulak at 16:02. So Kulak with a goal and 2 helpers by my count. And the Oilers win this one easy, 6-1. They go to 40, 25, and 5. The Ducks 28, 31, and 12. The shots in this one favor Edmonton in every period. 16-8 in the first, 14-9 in the second, 16-15 in the third. So the Ducks did wake up in the third. Final shots 46-32 for the Oilers. Power plays, the Oilers 1 for 2. Anaheim 0 for 1. The hits 14-13 for the Ducks. Smith saves 31 out of 32. Gibson saves 40 out of 46. So overall, rough night for the Ducks. But if you're a Ducks fan, probably used to it at this point now, and that's an expectation. And now you're just looking at the draft lottery and saying, you know, maybe if we win the draft lottery, that'd be just fine. Yeah, we can add Shane Wright to this, or maybe we get Slavkovsky, right? So just never know. I haven't started the look at this year's draft class. That'll be starting soon, but not when it's as busy as it's been. All right, next up and last up. Now, Dallas comes into this one against Seattle, and I kind of feel for Dallas, but this is what I talked about. This is what I talked about. We were looking at about a week and a half ago, looking at how many games in hand Dallas has. Oh, Dallas has extra games in hand. They have so many games in hand. Look at these games in hand. There's a problem with that. That means Dallas is playing a ton of hockey over a very short period of time, and it wears you out. And to me, at points during this game, there were some really not crisp passes by Dallas. There was a lot of, where's that puck going? Which tells me this team not overly sharp in this one. And, you know, Seattle played well. Chris Driedger played the best game he's played as a Seattle Kraken goaltender. And it all conspires to make the playoff picture in the West a little more murky. So it's Ottinger versus Driedger. The Stars get a power play, and Seattle scores a shorthanded goal on it. It's McCann from Wenberg and Soucy at 3:55. And that's when I said, that's a problem, right? So Seattle kills the rest. Klingberg with a blast, that's tipped high. The Stars press. But with 7 minutes left in that first period, the shots are 4 apiece. They're playing a Seattle game. There's not a lot of opportunities. And not only that, but Seattle is kind of outplaying them in that second half. Ben has a rush chance, he misses wide, and then there's a late press by Seattle. So you go to the second period. Kraken 9-5 when they lead after the first period this season. Yes, they've only led after the first period in 14 of their games this year. It's been a long season. There's an early press by Seattle. Lind has a chance, near miss wide on that one. Ottinger holds, but Seattle's controlling the play. Wenberg has a chance that's tipped aside. Donskoy is denied. Stars defense was really iffy at this point. And again, it's not crisp passes, not picking up the guy coming in, not playing their position, not playing the usual systems you'd see the Dallas Stars playing. They were just out of position, a little bit off. So Seattle presses after. Stars ice it. Gord is then robbed at the half. The shots are 8-2 for Seattle with 9 minutes left. And it looked like the flattest game I've seen the Stars play in weeks. Driedger then denies Pavelski. The Stars get a power play. There was a shorthanded 2-on-1. Ottinger has to save there. And honestly, it was a pretty easy kill for Seattle. So we go to the third period. The score's still 1-0. Better start for the Stars, but then the Kraken had a 2-on-1 and Gord fires wide. And this is something else. Those odd man rushes the other way. There's a lot of those being given up by Dallas. It felt like a ton of them in the second and third. Nemesnikov fires one wide. Glendening's denied as the Stars press. Heiskanen's robbed. The Stars stymied to this point. And then Donato. All these key saves by Driedger, and then it goes the other way. Donato puts it in the net from Soucy and Wenberg at 4:53. Pavelski was then denied. Seattle clears it out. Donato with a rush. Harley defends on that. There's a press by Seattle at 9.5 minutes. As you can see, they wanted this one. They really wanted it. This has been a miserable season for Seattle. Sure, they're not playing for a playoff spot, but they're playing for pride, which counts for something. So with 7:29 left, the Stars get a power play. It quickly becomes a 4-on-4. During the 4-on-4, though, Klingberg scores from Ben and Hanley at 14:25. Then Sprong had a break, and he's denied on it. So even though it's 2-1, they're still giving up these odd man rushes and breakaways. Ben, I don't know where Jamie Benn's putting that puck. He had a net feed in mind. There was no Stars player within, I want to say, 5 feet of that puck. It was all blue jerseys. The puck goes the other way, and Gord buries it. So there's no third assist to Ben, but there could have been. The assists are for Rask and Kuhlman at 17:47. And so that ended it. That was it. Made it 3-1. They do pull the goaltender with 1:50 left. That allows Kuhlman to hit the empty net at 19:19. Your final score is 4-1 for Seattle. They go to 22-41-6. And for Dallas, 39-26-3. They fall below the playoff line. And again, you can look at it two ways. You want to say they have games in hand. They should get in no problem. Fine. I understand that. But if you want to look at it the other way, if they have extra games to play that over top of what Vegas does. Vegas, 4 of their next 7 are at home. Dallas, 6 of their next 7 are at home. They've been better at home than on the road, but again, it's so much hockey in such a short period of time. We'll see how they go. And again, guys are going to get hurt. You're going to see injuries take place too. It's a lot of games over a short period. I'm starting to wonder about how things are going to work with the playoffs, because you have those couple of days before the playoffs start. Some teams are going to be tired. Shots, 8-6 Seattle in the first, 15-10 Seattle in the second, 14-6 Dallas in the third. They woke up in the third, but by that point, Drieger had all the confidence in the world, and Seattle was bound and determined not to lose this game. So your final shots are 30-29 Dallas, which don't tell you that Seattle outplayed them. Power plays, Dallas 0 for 3, Seattle 0 for 1. The hits, 23-22 Dallas. Ottinger saves 25 out of 28. Drieger, 29 saves on 30 shots. He was fantastic. Lots of highlight reel saves there. And there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of these games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And I need to see the percentages. With what happened tonight, Vegas's odds of making the playoffs go up. The one team that, of course, is still in the mix, Nashville. Nashville is 1 point ahead of Dallas. Nashville is tied with Vegas. If Dallas and Vegas keep doing the one-upsmanship, it could be Nashville that ends up outside the playoffs. But we've got a little less than 4 weeks to find that out. So let me know your thoughts. Do hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for all your support. Gotta throw that in there.